would be a tornado, and that's what the radar is depicting. So this is right over Georgia State Road 122, or just to the south of there. Here's Waresboro, here's Waycross. So we likely have a tornado on the ground right now with this storm. So you need to be taking that quick action, get into the lowest room of the building that you're in. I'll zoom this out just to give you a reference of where we are, and we'll look again at the warning. This is in southeastern Georgia. Here's Highway 1, Waycross, and Blackshear. There's a very strong thunderstorm with a lot of lightning and a lot of heavy rain, and there is this confirmed tornado tag. You just saw it pop up there above my head. So we've got a tornado right now that is in Ware County. This is western Ware County. I'll zoom into some street level mapping here and give you some names of roads. If you're near these roads, if you know folks near these roads, please make sure that you can either give them a heads up or you're able to find that shelter pretty quickly. Manor Millward Road North, we have that pretty close to you. This is that debris ball, right? So this is where there's sticks, there's metal, tree limbs, various objects, whatever it be. That right there is going to be where your tornado would be. So given that this is far away from Jacksonville, if it were in more of a rural area outside of our area and it wasn't a confirmed tornado, we would come off the air, but this is as confirmed as it can get. This is a debris ball here. This is pretty classic signature of seeing tornado debris signature right there, heading towards Georgia State Road 122. Now this is southwest of Waresboro, and this is west of Waycross. That's the locations that's in that tornado warning. Manor Millward Road North, said that a couple of times. If you're near there, Manor Millward Road South. Other areas near this storm need to be in your shelter as soon as possible. This isn't the only storm that we're watching today. We've had this line of showers and storms, and now it's a line of severe storms as well, stretching back from Waycross to Valdosta with very heavy rainfall and a lot of lightning. We've also got some isolated thunderstorms out ahead of that main line that are trying to produce more intense activity with lightning as well. But the focus right now is on this storm in northern Ware County, where there is a confirmed tornado, and the city of Waycross is in that warning. So if you are in Waycross right now, you need to be taking that action, that quick action, and staying calm while you're doing so, just to get into a safe space. You have a tornado safe space, that interior room, a closet, a bathroom where you are surrounded by as many walls as you can. There's over 115 lightning strikes just in this area alone. So you're likely hearing that if you're near this. It's a strong thunderstorm with wind gusts likely reaching those severe limits, if not exceeding that, which is 55 to 60 miles per hour. We're going to turn back on our velocity data to get an updated look at the couplet here, and it's a very obvious one, and it's right now over Georgia State Road 122. And I'll sample some of these, and we can see just how strong some of these wind gusts are. And we are looking at wind gusts anywhere from 58 miles per hour one way off the ground, and then it's just really tight. So it might not necessarily look like it's strong winds here, but I can tell you that those bright colors mean that we have some strong winds wrapping around one another, even though this sampler might not show that here. And it's moving quickly too. These storms are moving quickly at about 35 miles per hour. The storm itself is heading towards Waresboro, passing just to the northwest of downtown Waycross, but it's so close to Waycross, at least on its path, that you'll be able, or that you will need to take that shelter. So we're going to zoom this out again, get a frame of reference where we're looking at here. This is in southeastern Georgia. We're tracking these showers and thunderstorms. Downtown Waycross is just on the eastern periphery of this tornado warning. And you can see right here, that couplet that's crossing over Highway 122, that's the location of the tornado. So on its current trajectory, it would miss downtown Waycross, but it's close enough to where you need to make sure that you're taking those tornado safety precautions right away. This warning is in effect until 12:30. It is currently 12:14, so we'll continue to see how this evolves over the next couple of radar frames here, whether or not the rotation in the couplet tightens or whether or not it loosens a bit and broadens out, which would be good news, and that's what we would want to see. But there is certainly an indication that we are looking at a confirmed tornado here. A different imagery that we can use is what we call the correlation coefficient, and I'm going to zoom it in because it's a clear indication to me as a meteorologist that this is what we call a tornado debris signature, a debris ball, sometimes you'll hear us reference it as. So this map tells us how similar or different everything is that the radar is sampling. And all the pinks are objects that are similar in size and shape, and so those would be rain droplets. But when you have these different colors here, that means there's objects that are of different sizes, and so in many cases when you have tornadoes, you have debris that's lofted into the air and picked up into the air. And so that's what this is, and so that's why there's that confirmed tornado tag on this warning. So some more roads here. Again, I've said a couple of times, Manor, Millward Road North and South. Areas in and around there need to be in your safe space very quickly here. It does look like in the last frame the rotation loosened up a little bit, but we'll continue to see how that evolves over the next couple of minutes as it is heading in the direction of Waresboro. This is in Ware County. This warning is in effect until 12:30 for about another 15 or so minutes. And there's a lot of lightning and heavy rain wrapping around this as well. So don't go outside and try to look for it or try to see it, because it is likely going to be obscured, the view, from rainfall. So I'm going to zoom into some other streets here. These are streets that are in the path of what would be this tornado. Pineview Road in Waresboro. We're going to zoom in even more so. Settle Street, Albany Avenue, Grove Lane, Roscoe Mixon Road. If any of those sound familiar to you, you need to be in your safe space right away. And that safe space is where you're away from windows, you are not traveling, you're getting off the roads. If you are driving, don't try to drive towards it to find it. Drive in the opposite direction that the storm is moving, but preferably get out the car, find a safe space, the building that's closest to you, Albany Avenue, Industrial Boulevard, Brannan Road, Georgia State Road 4, Highway 1, all of these roads here in Waresboro. That leads to Waycross, but up into Waresboro, you've got this on your doorstep within the next couple of minutes. So you need to take that quick action while staying calm at the same time. We've been tracking these showers and storms all morning. Today's a first alert weather day. And you can see here as this is updating, it does appear that this will, on its trajectory, miss Waycross. But again, it is close enough to Waycross where any deviation in the movement of that storm is going to warrant very quick action. So it's best to be safe always than sorry. So in Waycross, where you are in that warning, please take that shelter. Waresboro especially. I'm going to change the view here just to show you the typical view of First Alert Doppler HD, and this is a classic supercell. You can sort of see the hook shape here. So you can see very heavy rain spreading over Waresboro right now with a lot of lightning coming out of the anvil, and then that rain wrapping around that circulation. So that's where the rotation is. So this view shows you the intensity of the rainfall, and there's a lot of heavy rain with this as well, so travel already hazardous. There's a lot of lightning too, but when we turn on the wind speeds, you can very clearly see we've got these different colors right next to one another. That's your couplet, and that is the location that there would be a tornado, which is crossing over Georgia State Road 122 now. Give you some more streets that are in the path of this storm. Again, Georgia State Road 122. We've got a few more streets here. If I can zoom in close enough, the streets will load. We've got Manor Waresboro Road. Let's see, we'll break away this box here. That might free up some of them. Old 122 Highway East. Take your shelter right now. Bud Davis Road as well. We've also got Hasty Road too. And this is heading in the direction of Waresboro. So there's your warning right here. Waycross is technically in the warning, but the couplet itself, the worst of the weather, the most intense weather on this path heading towards Waresboro, will pass and miss Waycross. If you're traveling on Highway 82, this is still to the south of Highway 82, but this is heading in that direction. As I'll put this into motion here over the last hour, you can see it's coming from the south and west. And you can see that rotation there, that's where it's heading. North of Highway 84, but south of Highway 82. And to zoom out, just to reset, give a nice frame of reference for where we are here. This is in southeast Georgia along a squall line of severe showers and thunderstorms. Out ahead of it, southeast Georgia, Brunswick, over towards Glenn and Camden counties, an isolated storm now right over the border. Jacksonville dry. But here's that line of significant weather and that confirmed tornado that is approaching central and northern Ware County. So this is some pretty serious weather. We want you to stay calm. We want you to take deep breaths and make those right decisions. And that right decision is to find that safe place. This is now due west of Waycross. Here's Highway 1 in Ware County. Blackshear seeing some light rain now, but Blackshear not in the morning. But if you're in Blackshear, just want you to give yourself a heads up. Hey, you've got this that could be coming down the line pretty soon, as it is moving very quickly. We're still seeing plenty of lightning. The lightning count seems to have come down a little bit, which can sometimes be encouraging news because as these storms intensify, the lightning usually goes up. Another check-in with what would be a debris signature here continues to show, not as defined as before, but continues to show these yellows and oranges right over State Road 122. So there's debris that's likely been lofted into the air that's continuing to move along with this circulation. And right now it's parked essentially just due east of Manor Millwood Road North. So again, this is a tornado warning for Ware County until 12:30 this afternoon. It is 12:20. Because this is a confirmed tornado, I would not be surprised if this warning gets extended to include Blackshear, but Blackshear currently is not under that tornado warning. But this will be moving in the general direction of Pierce County. So if you're in Pierce County, make sure you're staying weather aware of this thunderstorm, and if that warning does get extended, you've got to take your safe shelter. We've also got another severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued for parts of Ware County for storms to the southwest of there. That's until 12:45 this afternoon. We've also got some thunderstorms that are trying to get going in southern Duval and northern St. Johns County. I'll get back up to southeast Georgia in just a moment. These are far from severe, but they're in an environment favorable for the development of strong thunderstorms. There's a lot of warmth in place. If you've been outside today, it's warm. Temperatures are well into the 80s. There's plenty of wind shear as well out ahead of this cold front. So we're going to have to watch these carefully as well. You're likely seeing some rain over toward Fruit Cove and down to the south near Green Cove Springs. Some spotty showers out to the west of there as well. But the focus for this is in southeastern Georgia right now. That's where the most intense weather is, with a confirmed tornado due west of Waycross. A lot of heavy rain and lightning wrapping around that circulation. You see this flashing yellow box here. That's a newly issued severe thunderstorm warning. We'll change the view here to show you the winds. And the couplet that's the most threatening, if you will, is the one that is under that tornado warning. So that's where the rotation is strongest, and it is continuing to head towards Waresboro. So if you're in Waresboro, if you've got friends there, you've got to make sure that they are taking their tornado safety precautions. And this warning has been in place for several minutes now, and sometimes those minutes matter. A lot of times in these situations they do. So you've got to take that quick action to find your safe space. So some more street level mapping here. We'll zoom in and perhaps get a few more street names on the map listing here. In Ware County, no streets popping up there. I can see them here though. Whitaker Road, if you're near Whitaker Road. Pine Valley Road, Taylor Farm Road, any of these streets, homes, businesses along those routes, you are under the gun for a potential tornado, which is confirmed via First Alert Doppler HD, and that is that debris signature that I just showed you. So there is a confirmed tornado that has lifted debris up into the air. That's what's being picked up by the radar, and that's associated with this thunderstorm right now that has crossed State Road 122, and that's lifting north and east at about 30 miles per hour towards Waresboro. So on that path, at about 30 miles per hour, let's update this. We'll track this in terms of the timing as it heads towards the end of the warning box. 12:35 for Waresboro at 35 miles per hour. I would expect that to be approaching Waresboro a little bit sooner than that. These are quickly moving thunderstorms. So get in your safe place right away. Waltertown, you're right outside the warning polygon, but you are under the gun for this if it continues on that path. So you've really got to pay close attention to this. And it looks a little less defined than it did a couple minutes ago, but it still is obviously very threatening. There's a lot of heavy rain, a lot of lightning. The lightning counter is up here. That's at 49 strikes in the last couple of minutes. I can tell you this does look to slide northwest of Waycross. So even though Waycross is technically in that far corner of the warning, on this current path, it is lifting north and west of Waycross. But there is still the need to take that safe precaution here. South Georgia Parkway, you've got to take that shelter. If you're along Old Watertown Road, This is all to the east of Waresboro along State Road, or Highway 82 that is. State Road 122, still seeing that rainfall with this supercell thunderstorm. So just looking over here on the computer, I'm not seeing any other updates at this time. The warning's still going until 12:30. Blackshear seeing some more rain right now. This also stretches back towards Valdosta. That's a severe thunderstorm. That contains wind gusts in excess of 50 miles per hour. These storms are progressing from west to east as well. But the focus continues to be on that confirmed tornado in Ware County right now. That's until 12:30 this afternoon. It is 12:25. This is for another 5 or so minutes. And as this continues to lift to the north and east, we'll be watching closely how this evolves. And we have a WeatherStim camera as well up into Ware County, talking with meteorologist Garrett Biedenbaugh here. And that could give us some insight on what we are seeing at the Ware County Recreation Center. Let that load for a moment here. Again, this is in Waycross, so this is northwest. Temperature 71, cooled because of the rain. It'll take a few seconds for the camera to load. There it is. Water droplets there. Nothing too visual. This is pretty far away from where that couplet is at the Ware County Recreation. However, it is still close enough to where you've got to be taking those safety precautions. Do a quick little reset here. We've got those scattered showers and thunderstorms all over the region right now. The more isolated ones in nature ahead of the main line are trying to intensify. In fact, in northern St. Johns County, it looks like we're seeing a storm that is also trying to rotate a little, as there is some wind shear that is clearly present here. You can sort of see that notch there. So if you're near the Duval-St. Johns County border, just pay close attention as we're tracking this storm. There's currently no lightning with it, but that can change quickly. Nocatee, just north of you, some light rain into northern St. Johns County as well. I-95, some heavy rain down the St. Johns River toward Green Cove Springs. So I'm watching this batch of storms too. We've also got the main line of thunderstorms, which does have that confirmed tornado west of Waycross approaching Waresboro right now along State Road 122, Georgia Road 122. Plenty of lightning with this. Our lightning strike counter still at about 35 lightning strikes. We'll pause this and we'll head on over to our velocity data. And we still have that pretty obvious couplet right there. So you can see over the last couple of frames, it's maintained its intensity. I would say about, this was at 12:11, that was a little over 15 minutes ago. That's when it was strongest, and that was when the warning, or right after the warning had been issued. It's kind of loosened a little bit, which means that it has perhaps weakened, but there is very clearly still an obvious couplet, and that is why this warning is still in effect. It's approaching Waresboro. But what I'm seeing from here is that it is quite a bit weaker than what it just was, which could be good news for Waresboro. However, still need to take those safety precautions as you are still under that tornado warning. I'm just checking here to make sure there's no new updates. Does not appear to be. This tornado warning does continue until 12:30 this afternoon. And the good news is, though, it does look like there is some broadening here of the rotation. We can check the debris signature as well, and that also shows a little bit of improvement. As I go back in time here, you can see right there, this was 12:12, so very close to the time I just showed you. That was the debris ball. So that confirmed that we had that tornado that had picked up debris and thrown it into the air, and you can follow that over the past couple of frames, and it's kind of become less defined, which is good news, and that might mean that this warning can be expired here at 12:30 and we'll get you back to your regular programming, although we are still seeing that warning right now. And I know you might be frustrated because this might be nowhere near where you are, and you might go outside currently and the weather could be beautiful and it could be nice and warm and sunny, but if you had a tornado approaching your household, you would want to have this information as well. So please just try to remember that. Very heavy rain continues to fall from Waresboro down to Waycross, although again, Waycross, even though you're in the bottom corner of the warning, the worst and most inclement weather looks to pass northwest of you, and it does appear that this is on a weakening trend, although these can cycle, so that doesn't mean it's weakening for good. It could re-intensify. And very heavy rain stems well southwest of there, down 441, 84, 129, back to Valdosta, so pretty rough travel in central and southern Georgia, and now into southeastern Georgia as well. And a quick another reset as I zoom the radar out over northeastern Florida. Some isolated supercells are trying to develop here to tap into that rotation and that instability. And the ones that I'm also watching here are in northern St. Johns County, crossing the St. Johns River. There's also one here just north of Kings Bay Base in Camden County. No lightning with these, which is a good sign, but something we're going to continue to monitor. But the main event is associated with this line, the squall line, that we've been tracking all morning long, and that has now been with a confirmed tornado here in Ware County. That warning continues until 12:30. It's 12:29, so we're going to see whether or not this continues to be pressed forward or not. We've still got that severe thunderstorm warning in effect and still seeing some weak rotation with this. We'll pause it, change the view, and the rotation does look less defined, and it does appear right now that that tornado warning will be allowed to expire, but before I jump the gun, I just want to make sure that's the case. And it does appear that that is the case. That warning has expired. I'll take you back to your regular programming right now, but just know that we're watching this in the First Alert Weather Center. As we continue to see these storms approach from the west, if there's a warning issued, we will bring it straight to you. And it certainly looks less defined than it was when it first became tornadic. Still a severe thunderstorm, so still plenty of heavy rain stretching from Waycross now up to Blackshear with some light to moderate rain, likely hearing some thunder as well. Our strike counter, the lightning strikes, have come down a bit, which is another indication to me that the storms are weakening, but we are seeing that there is still that warning in place. North of Waycross, Waresboro, right up against Blackshear is where that tornado warning is in effect for, as this line of showers continues, the line of thunderstorms continues to race to the east and northeast. We've also been watching closely developing showers in northern St. Johns County and southern Duval County as well. Nocatee just northwest of you seeing some rain and crossing the St. Johns River as well towards World Golf Village. No lightning with this, so these are behaving as of right now, but they are in an environment favorable for the development of severe weather. So we're watching that closely, although right now we're not seeing that in northeastern Florida. We are seeing that in southeastern Georgia, which was the favored area today in the First Alert forecast this morning and then yesterday in recent days of seeing the most inclement weather. So stretching from Blackshear to Waresboro, that's where we are watching that tornado warning right now in effect until 1 o'clock this afternoon. And we'll pause it, we'll zoom it in, give you some street level mapping here. And if you recognize any of these streets, if you're near any of these streets, please make sure that as a matter of safety, just in case, even though this might be weakening, you are taking that safety precaution right away. So Van Road, Airport Road, Harris Road, near the Ware County Airport as well. That's where we're seeing the potential for a tornado here. I'm changing the imagery to show you the velocity, which continues to look unimpressive to me and not as impressive as it did earlier. We also have, just to the south of there, not in the warning, an uptick in the wind signature there. So that's something worth monitoring as well. That is part of the severe thunderstorm warning, though, so there are some intense winds with that. But as we take this back over the last 30 minutes to an hour, you can see how it was rather tight and impressive here to the west, but it has loosened since. So there has been an obvious weakening with this supercell, and hopefully that trend continues as this presses north of Waycross and approaches Blackshear. So Blackshear, parts of your area are in that tornado warning. I've got that box right here. It might be a little hard to make out. Cason Road, you're in that tornado warning. If you live along Cason Road, please make sure you're taking that shelter. As we zoom it in even more so, Johnny Minshew Road, Plantation Circle, all these streets in Ware County and now crossing over into Pierce County are under that tornado warning. Let's see, we've got small cells around the Jax metro area that are not intensifying, even though there is that favorable environment. The most impressive environment, though, and the most impressive storms continues to be located in southeastern Georgia. So this is that velocity map. This is that wind map. We've also got the rain map as well. No surprise, there's heavy rain with this storm. It's moving quickly to the east and northeast at about 30 to 35 miles per hour, with light rain extending all the way to the Georgia coast. Heavy rain stretches southwest from there all the way down towards the eastern areas of Valdosta as this whole batch continues to shift from northwest to southeast. Just a frame of reference, in Jacksonville, northeast Florida, southeast Georgia, we continue to watch very closely these developing showers out ahead of the main line. They are trying to intensify, and given the wind shear that's in place today and the instability that's in place as well, any of these could develop some strong rotation that could turn into a tornadic storm. But thankfully that has not happened yet, but we are watching that very closely if that does occur. Our only warning right now in terms of tornado warnings is in Ware County over towards Pierce County, and that is over Waresboro. So Waresboro, you're still in that tornado warning until 1 p.m. this afternoon. Another look at the debris signatures, not really indicating any obvious debris to me, although earlier there was that well-defined debris ball here about 30 to 45 minutes ago as we track it back just south of Georgia State Road 122, south of Millwood. So that's when this was real concerning. It's of course still concerning. There is still that warning in place, but all the signs that I'm seeing are pointing to the fact that this storm is weakening. And we'll move it forward in time, and I'm not seeing an obvious debris ball. Still very heavy rainfall, and the warning still goes until 1 p.m. this afternoon. Let's see, 12:38, and it does look like the tornado warning for southwestern Pierce and north central Ware counties is canceled. So once again, we are tracking these storms. That warning has expired. So Waresboro over to Blackshear, you're not under that warning, which is great news, although stay weather aware as these storms continue to pass through. And that is going to be the location of a potential tornado. And this is riding right along US 82 here, and that is just south of downtown Nahunta. But it's close enough to where if you're in Nahunta, you need to be taking that shelter right now. And I'm going to zoom in into street level mapping and read some of these road names. If you have friends, family up in Nahunta, you've got to make sure that they are aware of this. And if you're in any of these roads or near them, please take that tornado safety precaution right away. That's Burton Street, Satilla Avenue, Robertson Street, Apricot Street, Sears Road as well. You are in the path of this potentially tornadic storm with very heavy rain and already seeing some gusty winds as well, but especially where these colors are so close together. Buffalo Creek Drive, GW Highsmith Road, Rio Bravo Road. So those are some other roads that are going to be currently right underneath where this would be a tornado right now. That's southeast of Nahunta. That just crossed Highway 301. So just for reference here, we're in Brantley County, Highway 301, heading west, or rather heading east toward Glynn County over the next half hour or so. So a lot of rainfall with this, some lightning and heavy rain as well. Not too much in terms of the debris tracker right now, but we'll keep a close eye on this as well. It's also pretty far away from the radar, so that could lead to some contamination, but I'm not seeing any obvious debris signature currently from our Jacksonville radar or from our Moody radar as well. But in terms of rainfall, heavy rain with this storm, and it's right over Nahunta, heading to the east pretty quickly. I'm going to go over here and click on some information for Brantley and Glynn counties. This is until 2 o'clock. It's 1:40 right now, almost 1:41, so about another 20 or so minutes. The storm is capable of producing a tornado, and it was located right over Nahunta, moving east at 30 miles per hour. So we'll track that moving 30 miles per hour here. Just make sure I'm out the way there. At 30 miles per hour, this storm is going to be moving over some roads as well. Highway 82, 301, already seeing that. And eventually in the direction of I-95 towards more of Glynn County. But right now, Prosperity 145, Lulaton 149, Atkinson 155, Waynesville around 203, and Georgetown 216. Those are some timelines there. And Georgetown outside of that tornado warning, but just want to give you a heads up. This is heading in your direction. You're currently not under that warning, but you could be if this were to be extended in time. So we'll put this into motion here. We'll take off some of these annotations to clean it up a bit. And you can see a lot of heavy rain around it as well. So I mentioned this earlier with one of the warnings that we had. It could be rain wrapped. So you don't want to go outside and try to look for it, because that could be too late and it could be too dangerous. There is some strong rotation with this. We're going to be watching this move towards parts of eastern Brantley County and then into Glynn County as well. So this is another tornado warning here. Nahunta, some heavy rain. I've got the lightning strikes overlaid on top. We've got about 16 lightning strikes. But what's most concerning with this storm in Brantley County is the rotation associated with it. And you can very clearly see this is a strengthening rotating signature compared to what I just showed you a couple of minutes ago of some pretty bright colors here. So that's an indication of strong winds in this storm, and this warning is until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The current time is 1:42. So this is just southeast of Nahunta. So now, right in the middle of Nahunta, you're away from this. This is southeast of you, and it's moving very quickly off to the north and east. But this is a very well-defined circulation here, now east of Highway 301. So traveling north and south on Highway 301 is safe as this continues to press eastward with time. But we're going to read out some roadways here because there are some roads in the path of this storm I want to make sure that people in and near these roads are in their safe place right now, as soon as possible. So hopefully we can get some of those to load there. Long Lake Road, Knox Road, Baker Creek Road, Buffalo Creek Drive. If there's a tornado, it's essentially right on top of you right now. So there's no time to waste. If you're near these areas, you must make sure you're taking that safety precaution as quickly as possible, because these are moving quickly. So some highways here. We've got a US 82, Georgia State Road 259, Georgia State Road 110, all in the path of this storm here. And that is going to be moving over those roadways in the next couple of minutes as the storm is very quickly moving off to the east. We'll take another check at the debris tracker just to see if anything's changed since the last time I've showed it to you. Nothing too obvious to me. So what this is, if you are unaware of what we call our debris tracker here on First Alert Doppler HD, it tells us how similar or different objects are that the radar is detecting. And if they're similar, like water droplets with rain, they're all essentially going to be the same size, and that's why you see a lot of pinks. But if you have something different that just popped up here, this ball right here, that tells you that there's something, or there's a group of objects that are of different sizes. It's debris. So we have a debris signature here. So this is now a confirmed tornado in terms of radar confirmation, not visual confirmation. But we do have that debris signature just southeast of Nahunta and northeast of Hickox. It's in between Highway 301 and 259. So this could be anything like leaves, sticks, big branches, pieces of buildings, all being lofted into the air by these winds and picked up by the radar. And it is over a couple of streets right now. So County Road 96, likely seeing that damage in terms of debris here. We've got a few more roads I just read out to you. Knox Road in your safe place right now. Matthews Circle in your safe place right now. We've also got Baker Creek Road. You're very close to this. Long Lake Road. We've got a few more here up to Knox Road as well. So all these roads and streets, if you live along there, this is south of Highway 82. We've got a radar confirmed tornado here with a debris signature showing up on First Alert Doppler HD. We'll take another look at our wind speeds here to show you this is continuing to tighten in terms of rotation. So this is rather concerning, as a lot of times you'll see some pinks and you'll see some greens, but here we've even got some bright blues and some yellows, which are very strong winds right at the center of that mesocyclone, as we call it. So that's localized, small scale cyclonic rotation. That's what a tornado comes from, and that is quickly moving now to the east. So this is a concerning tornado as we continue to see the storm with heavy rainfall. Just for reference, this is not over Nahunta. I would say, Nahunta, you are in the clear right now. So that is good news, even though you're technically still in that tornado warning. As is Hickox, you're in the clear. So this storm is tracking northeast with time now, and it's heading towards State Road 259 and State Road 110 in Brantley County. So we'll turn this to your normal view, what you typically would see when we're looking at First Alert Doppler HD, just to show you there's a lot of rain around it as well. So all that is happening right around here, but there's a lot of heavy rain around it to the north and to the east as well. And that is going to obscure any view that you might see if you were to step outside, which is, of course, not what we would like to see. So we are talking about that debris signature confirmed. This is going to pass south of Atkinson. That's a good thing to point out here. This is where the warning is headed. And there's a lot of color on the map. We'll clean it up a little bit. There's very clearly that couplet. There's Highway 82. There's Highway 301. So if you're traveling north and south on Highway 301, again, this is not heading in your direction. It has already passed east of there. Hickox, you're in the clear. Nahunta, you're in the clear. But areas east of there, you need to be taking that safety precaution right away. No-go road along Highway 82 as you head towards Glynn County. That's in southeastern Georgia. This is well north of Woodbine. That's in Camden County, so this is northwest of there. That's where this tornado warning is in effect until 2 o'clock this afternoon. It is 1:47, and depending on how this evolves, that could be extended with time. Take another look at a debris signature, and we do still have that circle here of differing colors, those yellows, south of the highway, so still sort of away from these main roads, but it is moving over roads, and it is approaching, that debris signature is approaching State Road 259. So avoid State Road 259 in Brantley and Glynn counties here over the next couple of minutes, as there is likely tornado on the ground right now quickly heading in that direction. So you want to avoid that area as soon as possible, if not already. And not only State Road 259, but also Georgia State Road 110, how they both come up towards Highway or US 82. Some other roads in the path of this storm, I'm going to read out a few names. If any of these are familiar to you, make sure that you are heeding those precautions and those warnings. Satilla Plantation, Satilla Circle, Waynesville Road, Old Jacksonville Road, Buster Walker Road, and Lynn Road. All of those roads are in the path of what is likely a tornado right now, moving to the east of Nahunta and still off to the west of State Roads 110 and 259. So this is a pretty strong thunderstorm. It is a strong thunderstorm containing those strong winds as well. Here's another look at the velocity data from a different perspective, a different radar that's also nearby, and that also shows that rotation is pretty tight, where you can see those colors together and those strong wind gusts definitely associated with that. For reference, on the left-hand side of your screen, or the right-hand side of your screen, excuse me, there's Brunswick, St. Simons Island. So just geographic reference, that's where we're located right here. Here's another look at the radar. A lot of rainfall, and this eventually is going to be moving towards Interstate 95. It's still pretty far from it, but we're watching that closely. We've also got a severe thunderstorm just outside of Folkestone to the northwest of Folkestone, and that is associated still with the bulk of the squall line that is moving into our area here, and we've been tracking this all morning long. So while we're still largely dry across much of northeastern Florida and coastal southeast Georgia, this is sort of an idea of what to expect over the course of this afternoon as these storms press through. But the one I want to focus on right now is the storm in Brantley and Glynn counties, east of Nahunta now. We have a tornado warning, and it appears it is a radar-confirmed tornado with heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and strong winds. This gray, yellowish line that you see here is Highway 301. There's Nahunta, there's Hickox. This is east of you. So those locations are in the clear from this storm. You can come out of your tornado safe place. When this first was issued, it was right over Nahunta. And we have a debris signature evident on the radar, which indicates there's likely reports of damage. We have not received any of those yet, but this would support damage occurring. And there is still that obvious debris ball evident on the radar south of Highway 82. And we'll put that into motion to sort of track a damage path. So near State Road 259 is where this is currently located. But over the last half hour, this has been moving, and it looked like it peaked just south of there, southwest of there, south of Nahunta. And you can see right over 301 is when it started to get going. So there's a big spike up there, peaked, and now it's moving further to the east. That's where a tornado would be. That's where the damage would be located. And again, this is a product or a tool that we have here that helps identify different objects that have been lofted into the air. That is not simply rain per se. So another view, heavy rain, of course, that continues. This is moving east towards No-Go Road. We'll zoom in and read a few more roads for you once I turn on our velocity data here from the Jacksonville radar to see if there's any difference in the couplet. A little bit lighter, a little bit broader compared to before. We'll track that over the last hour to see how that's evolved, and you can see it clearly peaked a couple minutes ago with these colors here. The bright pinks and the blues, very strong winds, likely produced the damage that resulted in that debris signature, but that has since dramatically changed. Let me get rid of these boxes. This is all south of Highway 82. Nahunta's on the left-hand side of your screen. Over the last 10 to 15 minutes, this has broadened a bit. Now these cycles, so this could re-intensify, but right now it is encouraging to see that it is not as tight as it was, but we do still have that debris signature parked right over State Road 259. So areas along State Road 259, you need to be in your safe place right away. I'm going to read a few more streets. Satilla Circle, Satilla Plantation, I read these a few minutes ago, and now this storm, the worst part of the storm, is overhead. So Satilla Circle, Satilla Plantation, Waynesville Road. We've got Elbert Wilson Road, State Road 110. Right now it's over State Road 259. In your safe place, away from windows. Don't venture outside to see it. This is a dangerous situation with a radar-confirmed tornado. And we are continuing to watch not only the tornado threat, but also those gusty winds as well associated with any of the storms that we have today. So I'm going to turn the warning box back on, and we'll see some locations that this is heading toward once we turn the radar on. And there it is, in between Nahunta and Brunswick right now, along Highway 82. And again, that rotation has broadened up a bit, which is good news compared to a couple of minutes ago, but it's still there with a lot of lightning as well. And it's still in Brantley County. This is not in Glynn County yet, but it is approaching Glynn County, and it will be there. Here's the county line, this bright yellow line. So Brantley County, Glynn County. Interstate 95 is still off the right-hand side of the screen. So travel on 95 is good right now, but this is the area that we're focusing on for that potentially tornadic storm that has been likely producing damage based off of the data that we are seeing here at Action News Jax, CBS 47, and Fox 30. So zooming in again, we've got State Road 259 and State Road 110. This big bright yellow dot is an indicator that there is debris and damage that has been lofted into the air and that is continuing to move to the east with time. Now again, you might be looking outside and wondering, where's the storms? What's going on? They are coming. It's a pretty widespread rainmaker that we have, but just realize that when these situations happen and we have these dangerous weather events setting up, we are here to give you the first alert. So if we had this over you in Brunswick, you would want us to tune in and to cover this, and that's what we are committed to doing here in the First Alert Weather Team. So Highway 82, Highway 301, there's just some reference points. This is now east of 301, so travel north and south of 301. We are looking good. This is along 82 in between Nahunta and Brunswick. This is south of Talman near State Road 32. So this is going to pass south of you for now, but we're going to continue to watch that to see if the warning does get extended off to the east with time. Again, a lot of lightning, very heavy rain is going to obscure any view of a tornado that would be occurring, so it's best to find that safe place. And it does appear that the debris signature is winding down, and that confirms with what I'm reading here. So it looks like that tornado might have dissipated south of Atkinson, which would make sense. Remember, I just showed you how this dot that we were tracking peaked right here with those blues and those greens. So that's a lot of debris that's pretty concentrated in one area, but that has since loosened up a bit. And you can see that here. It's kind of fading away. So that is encouraging, but that is still something that you need to make sure that you're bringing yourself inside and away from windows if you are within the path of this storm. And that is moving east-northeast at about 30 miles per hour. Let me just get a check-in on the speed. East at 30 miles per hour right now. And we've got meteorologist Corey Sima here as well, giving a little bit of a broader view of what we've got going on. Corey?
Yeah, Trevor, just a quick update on the tornado watch. So we have had a tornado watch in effect for southeast Georgia since earlier this morning, a long time ago. That has been extended now until 4 o'clock. This is just coming down from the National Weather Service. We also have a tornado watch now in effect for portions of northeast Florida. So let me find that time really quick. Okay, it is until 4 o'clock. The previous tornado watch was extended also down into northeast Florida. Geographically also extended in time for about 2 hours up in southeast Georgia. The most intense storms now are up in southeast Georgia, as Trevor has been carefully watching over the last few hours. We do not have ground truth of any tornadoes that have been confirmed. It looks like we have, at the very least, 2 tornadoes that have occurred so far today up in southeast Georgia. That same line is headed down into northeast Florida later this afternoon and into the evening. So we're watching everything very closely. Let's go back over to Trevor now for an update on the active tornado warning.
Yeah, so Corey, we're seeing this in southeast Georgia. That's the line of showers and storms that's approaching the coast and then into northeastern Florida. But that one tornado warning is still in effect until 2 p.m., so that's about another 2 or so minutes, and we're going to see whether or not that gets extended or if it gets canceled. And the signs that I'm seeing in the last couple of minutes are encouraging, and that it appears that this has weakened quite dramatically compared to what it was just a couple of minutes ago. So we're going to switch the view here and show any signs of debris, and I'm not seeing that obvious debris ball. What's left of it is likely this red pixel here. But just a couple minutes ago, this is how quickly these things can spin up and spin down. As we go back in time, it looks like it peaked at around 140, 147. So just in 5 minutes, it's come down quite a bit. But that is a very obvious sign that there was likely a tornado that was producing damage. So we'll be on the lookout for any reports of damage southeast of Nahunta in Brantley County. So this is the current view here, and you'll see that it's really not that impressive, which is good news. And so it does appear that we will see this weakening, and I'm just going to check in to see if we have this expiring or if it is going to continue. And it looks like they are going to expire this tornado warning. So that is good news. And again, we still have plenty of shower and storm activity to track. The environment is favorable for severe weather. I'll leave you with one view here of our radar, unless, Corey, do you have anything over there, or are we good? I'll bring it over to Corey. We'll take it over there. He's got a camera shot.
Yeah, so Trevor, I wanted to show a couple of things here. We have our downtown tower camera. This is downtown Jacksonville. You're maybe wondering, what's going on? What is all the activity that's going on? Not a whole lot has been going on in Northeast Florida. We did have some storms in northern St. Johns County just about 1 hour ago. Things, though, have been relatively quiet in the metro. It's really hard to see on the distance, but we have these clouds that are just kind of bubbling up. The atmosphere is, I'd say, boiling a little bit now. If we can take a look at the other screen over here as well. Temperatures are very warm. You'll probably even think it hot. We are up to 87 at the International Airport. Orange Park is 88. My goodness, we're getting close to 90 in some spots. That is just the instability. When we talk about severe weather, you need all these ingredients to come together. And one of those is instability. You get that by heating up the surface of the earth. Hot air rises. It rises and then cools, condenses into clouds. That turns into rain, thunderstorms, potentially severe weather, and tornadoes. You get the idea. It's a lot cooler up in southeast Georgia. That's where we have all the rain and storms right now. But the atmosphere down in northeast Florida, with the exception of a couple of those thunderstorms in St. Johns County, we haven't seen a lot of rain and storms. So there is still a lot of energy for the atmosphere to use, especially near I-10 and to the south. That being said, the expectation is this line of storms will weaken a little bit as it pushes into northeast Florida later today. Those are the indications I've seen, forecasting this system all week long. But it also matters what's happening now. Part of doing the weather and forecasting the weather is looking at what is happening right now. And it is so warm and humid over northeast Florida. It's a little concerning. We're keeping an eye on this all day into the evening and night, even if necessary. But it's hot out there right now, Trevor, and that's one of the ingredients that could work toward this line of storms progressing and continuing to be on the strong side and potentially severe side into this evening.
Yeah, Corey, and we're already also seeing some of those spotty showers try to tap into some of that heat. We had a severe thunderstorm briefly across coastal St. Johns County a couple of minutes ago, really around an hour ago. That pushed offshore. So we're still seeing these spotty showers, which are discrete in nature, which will try to tap into that environment. But, Corey, that tornado warning has expired, so we're just left with 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. But they're pretty big ones, and this is a pretty hefty line and a potent line of those showers and storms with a lot of lightning. And it's also starting to break up a little bit, which is going to be interesting to see how that evolves. Corey?
Yeah, so I want my director, Nick, to just zoom out and kind of give us the Weather Center and the couple monitors right here. I'm right next to Trevor, Nick. Yeah, so this is part of the Action News Jax studios. We got a lot of different TV monitors and stuff to use to show you what's going on. There's the temperature map I just showed you. We also have St. Augustine on the First Alert SkyChem network. That's that little shower that it's raining there now.
Yep.
Like I said, the atmosphere down in northeast Florida has largely been untouched. There's still a lot of energy available to use, but we're seeing some of those showers just pop up. It is so unstable in northeast Florida. We're seeing some showers. It's not severe now.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
That's the key.
And I talked about it this morning, Corey, how much instability there could be today with temperatures this warm. But the encouraging thing right now is that warning has expired in southeast Georgia, the tornado warning. But there could be more later today. That's why that tornado watch is in effect. So the First Alert weather team is here. We'll be here for the rest of the afternoon. And
he's going home.
As long as can be. And we'll keep you safe.